Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to another morning view. It is Tuesday, couple more days until we are in action again in the Europa League at home. Ruben Amorim's first game under the lights at Old Trafford in the Theatre of Dreams. We're all looking forward to it. As Owen says, Bodo Glimt, decent team, though. Decent team. Not, I weren't really knowing that, to be fair. I just thought Bodo Glimt.
Yeah.
Apparently they're a decent team, but obviously this is not the preview, but it's what's on its way. Today we've got Flexing KG show as well. And we've got a really jam-packed show for you this morning. A lot of excitement. Shout out everyone on the red carpet and who watched the red carpet yesterday. Everyone was locked in. Of course, there's always big topics, big talking points, and still a lot of optimism. But I just finished doing something with Saeed as well, a little pre-record. And we were just talking about, I realized a lot of things in the last couple of days. And it's like, we're so eager to find all the answers from one game. I've been part of it as well. We're in the discussion, and it's like, actually, we need to chill. We need to chill. And as you can see on the thumbnail, the biggest discussion point today, we're going to start the show with Jamie Carragher's analysis, as our good friend Matisse would say. His analysis on Monday Night Football, dissecting our tactics and what Ruben Amorim wants from us. I thought it was a brilliant watch. And last time I tried to give Jamie Carragher some praise for pointing out
on Monday Night Football.
On Monday Night Football, it went south for me. Yeah. Don't listen to him, Flex. It's not the message. It's the messenger. It's the this. It's the that. Yeah, cool. He hates Man United, but guess what? His job is to talk football, and he done a flipping good job of it last night. Shout out Saeed. He goes, "Yo, we're here as well." Yep, big up Saeed. He said he's going to watch this show as well. So get chatting to Saeed if you've got any questions as well. Fling them his way. But yes, we got a lot to talk about. And that Jamie Carragher thing, I really, really liked it, Owen. What was he saying? What was going on?
Yeah, so it was about, 5 minutes long.
Sorry, 2 seconds as well, as I hand over to you. I will be on mute because I'm at the moment, I'm doing a little bit of I'm doing a little bit of everything, yeah? So obviously the M4 Core Flex can handle everything, but I've got busy mornings. So I've got my water, yeah? I've got my fruit, got a couple eggs.
It's gonna be like
multitasking.
Remember on the early days, people, if they remember the show Sunday Supplement, on Sky.
Yes.
It literally used to be, I'm not even joking, for people that didn't watch it or whatever, like 4 or 5 journalists having breakfast, legitimate breakfast, and talking about football. And like by the end of the show, you just saw empty plates of food.
Imagine Samuel Luckhurst, Neil Custis. I think Neil Custis used to be on it. Melissa Reddy was on it. Imagine Laurie Whitwell, Jason Burt,
breakfast.
Just having it.
Just have their breakfast.
Yeah, so I'm not being rude. I will be on mute, so I'm not chomping in your ear.
Yeah. Wow, that was good though. That was nice. Was it ASMR? That was all right. Some people they enjoy it. There you go. Have an egg. Love egg. Jamie Carragher was talking about positioning on Monday Night Football. His analysis was about 5 minutes long, 5-10 minutes long. And actually, look, as you mentioned before, Flex, Jamie Carragher, he can be quite negative about Manchester United, of course. He starts every season with a negative piece. I think he writes for The Guardian or something like that, or Telegraph, one of those papers. And it's usually negative. But he was largely talking about how it's just going to take time, basically, with this 3-4-3 system. And he pointed out some good examples of players literally, in the case of like Casemiro, Johnny Evans, turning to Ruben Amorim mid-match going, where am I? What am I supposed to be doing? What do you want me to do? And he showed a really good example of how earlier on in the match didn't work, leads to an Ipswich chance. And then he leads to another example of later on in the match going, Ruben Amorim's telling them, go press. In the case of Casemiro and Johnny Evans, go press, go press, go press. And it does work. And Ruben Amorim's happy with that. And I think the reason I really liked it, Flex, is because yesterday when I was doing the morning show and we spoke about it on the red carpet too, when you say some of the players don't know where they're meant to be or what they're meant to be doing, the pushback from us as fans is, you're professional footballers. What do you mean you don't know what you're meant to be doing? What do you mean you don't know where you are at the moment? And how come other players... it's see-through. Flex is eating...
I promise you, I'm not eating some mad thing where you're like, what is going on? This is a piece of mango and it is yellow and I have a green screen. So you do the maths. Back to you,
Owen. I forgot what I was going to say now. I mean, that really took me out of it. Oh yeah, where they're meant to be.
Players not knowing where they're meant to be.
Yeah. So when the players not knowing where they're meant to be, we as fans, professional footballers, how can you not know that? But you literally saw Ruben Amorim have to stand on the touchline through the game and to experience Casemiro. I mean, 5 Champions League, whatever, going, no, now go press now. Casemiro's turning to him mid-match going, well, my position. And Ruben Amorim, as Jamie Carragher said, is literally going like, push, go. And same with Johnny Evans. So it just goes to show it is going to take some time. And also, as we've said before about the players adapting, some of the players, if they can't adapt, they just won't be featured. People like Johnny Evans, let's face it, in the best of times, if everything's okay, he's not going to be playing. He's not going to be in that role. Casemiro, he's done well in, the last few games, certainly. But, when Kobe's back, when Ugarte's back, is he going to be in that team? Well, an easy win for Ruben Amorim right now would be like, sorry, Cass, Ugarte, you know exactly what I want you to do. So
100%.
Until you get it, I'm playing Ugarte in there, and Kobe, you can maybe go alongside him. And stuff like that was quite interesting to see, I think, from a fan's perspective of, it was difficult, but it's not to say it wasn't working, because there were points later on where they understood it a bit more that it did. So the logic would be more time. Hopefully that will work better and more efficiently.
I think, sorry, excuse me. I do think, actually, obviously the best scenario is to win the game. Obviously, you always want 3 points over everything. But in terms of the performance and how we played, I think that will do us well. It would do Ruben Amorim well to see that. Do you know what I mean? Rather than see like they weren't trying to apply what he was asking for. They weren't trying to understand what he was saying. They sort of threw the towel in, gave up, and went back to type. They went back to type with a few habits of maybe, okay, they didn't run as much or whatever. That's been a stinky habit that we've had for a while, so it ain't just going to change. Most of what was going wrong was down to a lack of understanding of the new rules, the new principles, because it was fresh in their minds in the first 5-10 minutes. So they went for it. But to keep that going, it's foreign. Like someone like Casemiro, like you said, what's he won? 5 Champions Leagues, 4 Champions Leagues, 5 Champions Leagues, right? He's going, mate, for 10 years, right? For 10 years of my career and maybe 2 here, I sit here
and sweep
right,
up,
and I know what's going on behind me. I do not do that. So I need to. I feel very out my comfort zone. And Casemiro is on his way to doing it, but to be fair, he should, because also he has to check his back, because he's going, is Johnny Evans also doing this? Like, are them centre backs with? Because if I do just run out, which is what the managers asked me to do, but if I do it now. I'm not sure. And then you had Rashford in that same clip. I don't know if you saw this, where Rashford's a bit unsure whether to go to their right back or their centre back, or it might have been their centre midfielder who's dropped in. So Rashford goes to the one that Casemiro should be going to, because maybe he's done it because Casemiro didn't go there. Who knows? But it starts to fall. It starts to fall away. It's a sequence. If one person's not where they're meant to be, but then as soon as Casemiro gets the go ahead from Ruben Amorim to go to that player, Rashford then stops and then runs back to where he should go, because it's a man-to-man system. Eriksen, same thing.
Yeah.
In all the years of Eriksen playing, yes, he can play a holding midfielder. Yes, he can play a 10, but he's not a 1v1 engager. That's not what Eriksen.
When you go man for man, over the pitch, and you've got Eriksen, you go.
You know what I mean? Eriksen does not arrive at games, look at his opposite number and go, all right, me versus you, I'm going to have you. You ain't getting part. That's not his game. But in these moments, that's what Amorim wants. 1v1 all over the pitch, and you must win your battles. That's as simple as that. Now, the more often you get used to doing that, the quicker you get the ball back, then you work on his other principle, which is we need to keep the ball better. Once we start keeping the ball better, we won't be running around like blue-ass flies the whole game, pressing, because we'll have the ball more.
And some of those players we've mentioned, like, this is when I said you can take some stuff from the game at the weekend, some stuff you can't, because some of those players, like, they're just not going to play. Like, you know what I mean? So, but we're said about Christian Eriksen going one-on-one. Well, he's in trouble then, isn't he? Because he's not in an ideal situation when, like, Kobe, Mason Mount, Ugarte, etc., all available. We know probably he's going to play then, because they fit the system better. We mentioned Johnny Evans. We've got 4 centre backs out at the moment. If even a couple of them are back, he's out. He's not going to. Exactly. He's not going to play in that team. I saw stuff from Fabrizio Romano this morning saying, Amorim's basically gone to the United hierarchy. Be like, we need a left wing back, because we do. We do need a left wing, because even when Shaw came on, played left centre back, and
sure ain't going to play left wing back.
And knowing what what the job of a wing back is. I mean, it's the ultimate physicality test, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be just
fitness,
up and down, aggressive, intense. Luke Shaw at even the best times, would you necessarily describe him as that? Probably not. Malasa coming back again. Who knows how long he's going to last with his knee and all that kind of stuff. Even on the right hand side, that's why people are talking about Dalot, where they're sort of going, "Have you got that bit of intensity to be a wing back, in this system?" And even that's what I found interesting with Amorim in his post-match press conference, where he specifically said, Dalot, going, he's used to basically becoming a midfielder. I don't want him to do that.
Which is fine. And that's okay. That's where you can give that. Look, Dalot was already having a poor season this year, whether it's fatigue or mental fatigue or just feeling a bit leggy. And he's played an awful lot of games and he hasn't had the best of starts of this season. But he did start that wing-back position quite well. We were praising him. We were. But Amorim's 100% right. Like, you are asking him to just undo what he's been doing autonomously. I know it wasn't working properly in Eric's system and stuff, but someone said it yesterday in the red carpet. Like, that is sort of talking about Eric's. Yeah, Eric did have a tactic where you build up with a 3 and that right back inverts. That's what was happening. The fullbacks invert. I don't want you to do that. First of all, you're not a fullback. Secondly, I don't want you anywhere near the centre of the pitch. I want you as far wide as possible, giving us all the width you can, up and down, attacking and defending. That's what I want. So Dalot does have to adapt, and it's adapt or die. It's that simple. We can just let go of all sentiment because the coaches. It's adapt or die. Ahmad showed, I ain't dying today. I'm going to show I can adapt. Yeah. And that might not be the long-term plan for Ahmad, but also Ruben spoke about things that he's going to see. So he went the last couple of days with the instructions. Ahmad's been unreal. Like I've just been, basically, he's been a joy to work with. I've come in. I had an earmark for him to having to play there because of the players that were available. So I told him what I would need from him. And he did it. Very intelligent footballer. He did the attacking side really well. Had one lapse of concentration where they got the big chance down the right-hand side, their left. But other than that, he was really good. So Ahmad's now put his name into a hat for Ruben where he might not have thought, where he goes, whenever I need him to maybe help out or fill in, or whilst I'm looking for this long-term right wing back, if Dalot struggles, I know Ahmad could do a job for me there. He said about Garnacho as well. I don't know if you picked up on this when he said, well, one thing I did learn, and this would be interesting what you guys think in the chat. He said, I learned that Garnacho can hold the ball in them half spaces.
Yeah, well, he said that, yeah.
Because we see him as like giving the ball away quite a lot, making bad decisions. But I think his initial point is probably right in terms of he can receive the ball there. He gets the ball there quite a lot.
Pick up the ball in good areas.
But it's when it's going to go and make so he can fine tune that. But what he's saying he didn't know is that what's he going to be like not being high and wide and just going at his man and being inside and taking the ball on the half turn? What's he going to be like with that? And initially he was all right. It's when he starts going that he has to make it.
And also, with being a bit more of an inside 10, you have to show a bit more nuance, don't you? It's not just about, like you said, I'll just go past people with some pace or I'll run at them. It's like, well, no, actually, what's your decision making like? Where more people are in front of you, statically, can you find those spaces and pass the ball in behind? Yeah. That's why I have reservations as well about him being, if people are going, Garnacho become a wing back. And I go, again, I'm talking about physicality. I'm going, that's one of the things, even as a left winger or a right winger, we're going, gotta get a bit more physical, mate. And he's young, so you would hope that, fill out a bit more, put a bit more muscle on, get a bit more physical. But as a wing back, I don't know. That'd be a massive, massive, massive ask for him.
Yeah, I'll be stunned. I mean, I know we were stunned in that first 11, but we were stunned in that first 11 because of injuries and people fitness and just the first 5 to 10 games. You've already said he's got to go for the squad. And I like that he said that we don't have time on the training pitch. I think Simon Stone asked him, Ruben, the games.
Ruben,
it's so funny to see him just carry on, just pick up where. Why would we expect him to change? He's been doing that since Sir Alex days.
Yeah,
But he's a seasoned pro, so he's never going to change. But it is brilliant to just see that continuation. Ruben, there's not much time to work with these players. The games. How are you going to implement that? And he goes, listen, it's very simple. And I like this because he's not using it as an excuse that we don't have enough training sessions enough time on the training pitch. It is what it is. The games are coming thick and fast. I have to rotate this squad because of injuries, because of load management, and there's a lot of games. So the people, they will learn through a mixture of games and training. The people who have been playing, they will get rotated out, and then we can work on the system and training a little bit harder. And the ones who were training more on the system and now will be getting a game, i.e. Bodo Glimt, because that shows me that we could be wrong, but this is my early prediction. This shows me that against Bodo Glimt, you'd see Ugarte for Casemiro. You might get to see Kobe for Ericsson, maybe. You might get to see a Mason Mount for Garnacho from the start. I think you'd see Luke Shaw from the start instead of Evans. I think you'd see that. I think we'd see quite a few changes.
It depends what he wants to do for Sunday. Depends what he wants to do for Sunday, isn't it? Because some of those injured players or players coming back from injury, does he start them or does he want to bring them on and then start them on Sunday? Is that what he wants to do? You know, he'll have some things to think about that. Just by the way, Flex, a bit of an update from Florian Plettenberg, coming in the last couple of minutes. He has said the search for a new left back at Manchester United is in full swing. The highest priority for Ruben Amorim as reported. Alphonso Davies remains the desired target, but difficult to realise. Theo Hernandez is also on the list alongside other options. However, Hernandez is being closely monitored. Contract with AC Milan is until 2026. So he's got a year more after this season.
I'd have him. Theo Hernandez is good.
But that also means that, a year left on his contract. That's when people look for signings in the summer, that they go like, are they out of contract now? Are they out of contract next season? Because
have they got 4 years left?
Exactly. That's the time to get them. But it's interesting because that's on top of, again, for Rich Romano saying the same thing, saying that, as I just mentioned, that essentially Ruben Amorim's gone to Dan Ashworth and Christopher Vival and whoever and sort of gone, look, I need a left wing back. That's what we need. We don't have one. Even with the guys we got right now, we don't have a left wing back, basically, which is going to be problematic for the remainder of the season when you think about it as well, Flex, isn't it? Because he's just going to have to make do, basically. Just going to have to make do for the rest of the season when it comes to all that, right? Because we're saying Shaw's not even probably going to go in there. So our left wing back options really are probably...
They're very limited.
Malacia, still probably have like either Mazraoui or Dalot.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
a mismatch.
And maybe try, and if he wants to try a winger, maybe he might try that. Maybe he won't. But that search is on.
That search is on. This is quite big news. I mean, obviously we knew it already, but it is a big point that basically won't go away, and it's showing the emphasis that we have to address that area of the pitch. We have to, because it's integral to how he wants to play. Dalot isn't a natural fit there. Mazraoui is good enough to play anywhere across that back five because he's just a good player, but he's not ideally what you want. And you want that. We need that really aggressive, intense, quick, powerful left wing back. And we haven't had it for so long. Luke Shaw's obviously been in and out for so long. Malacia came in and gave him a run for his money in his first season. Then Luke Shaw basically won the position back in that first year, really, didn't he? And then Malacia was out all last season, as was Luke Shaw. So we haven't had the same like with the striker where we just haven't had that long-term solution. Yeah, it's the same at left back. We've been playing with these auxiliary left backs or flashes of left backs, and we just can't get it sorted. I just want to get the final player in that position where it's like, right, you are our main left back, left wing back, left-sided fullback,
it's
whatever.
In no flex in it because again, like I remember saying for months before the transfer window even opened, like we need a left back, and we didn't do it. And now it's become an even more important position. It was important anyway in the old system with Erik ten Hag. Don't get me wrong, but now it's like it's literally our width. Literally our width. It's become even more important. I suppose maybe you could, if you were trying to look on the positive side of life and sort of go like, well, maybe it's a good thing we didn't get one because now we can get a specialist left wing back, and maybe the left back we would have got previously might not have been able to adapt, perhaps. But it still means that, like I said, we're going to go through the rest of this season.
Yeah, I do agree with that, Owen, just quickly. I'd rather look for one now with this manager.
But that's very easy to say in hindsight.
Yeah, I know.
Easy. Oh, that digs them out. That digs them out of not doing it.
Oh, they didn't do it on purpose like this. Absolutely not. But because we are in this shit situation, I will draw on that positive that actually, but now he's in place, the type of left wing back he wants a left wing back. He doesn't even want a left back. So now it has changed. So now with him there, and his coaches, they will feed back into Ineos like, I need this. Whereas if we trusted them to do it from before, listen, we started to trust Ineos as it was. I get that. But it might not have been as good as a target as what Ruben's now going to say. I need this, and this out of the left back. I need him to be the age profile of X. I need him to have the running stats of Y. I need them to have the intensity of this. They need to be comfortable. They need to be able to cross it. Whatever it is, now he's going to be able to put his fingerprints all over that. Not as a veto. I know he doesn't have the official veto, but like he said, I know he probably misspoke a little bit by saying he should get the final say. But his point was that I need to have a big influence over this type of thing. Yeah, they need to listen to me because it's me who's playing the system. And when we lose games, who are they going to come and ask? Me. So if you're putting that on me, you need to give me what I want or listen to what I want. So on that side, the type of left wing back we'll get. I mean, look, Alphonso Davies obviously is the dream. I mean, he'd be great. He'd be perfect. Theo Hernandez, I think, is excellent. I think that would be a really good signing. But again, I was saying in my Flex's view, let's not be scared to do what Sir Alex used to do and go and get the best of the rest. There's a lot of teams that are doing better than us right now. They've got some really good players. You know, the lad at Bournemouth, I forgot his name. Kurdek? What's his name?
Begins with a K, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is it
Carragher?
Bournemouth.
Whatever his that someone will put in the chat. He's decent. Robinson, the American. Kirkes, he's decent. Robinson at Fulham, I think, is aggressive, is good. I like him. Nuri is good. He could do a job. And it's about these players making a step up. And at the moment,
sometimes
with the football they're playing,
with
the football they're actually playing versus how we're playing, it ain't even going to be hard for them to adapt. Yeah, the pressure of Man United and it is different and the scrutiny. But in terms of the actual level of football they're playing at, Robinson's playing at a higher level in his position than our left wing back or left back.
You get, like I said, it's the risk you always get from buying. To be honest, it's no different from buying from anywhere in Europe, but it's the risk from buying from the Premier League. You know, sometimes you, like Liverpool, they did it when they signed Sane, when they signed Robertson or whatever. They can make the step up, and you go, look at them, brilliant. They become world class, some of the best in the world. Or you do like us, you sign Morgan Schneiderlin, and you go, didn't really work out. But that's how it goes.
I thought that was going to be a really good signing,
I was really excited. I
thought he's good.
I was there for his debut. I think it was Spurs at Old Trafford. Yeah, and I remember I was there with my dad that day. We were like, "Oh, it's going to be a good signing." And it was because it was the same transfer window as Memphis Depay. So I was there that day. First game of the season. We beat Spurs 1-0. Own goal. Kyle Walker. Horrid game of football. Horrid, absolutely horrid. But
LVG, mate.
But I thought, here we go. This is going to be proper.
Yeah. Did Martial come in that same season as well?
I don't know. The LVG era, man, is such a blur.
I know.
At this point,
did Martial come in LVG's first window? 15.
Martial was second, wasn't it? Second season.
Second. All right.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I think. Yeah, so because his first window was the maddest of mad windows, which was like it ended with Falcao and
Di Maria. That was. Oh no, yeah, because Thingy 13,
insane.
14.
And it was
he would have come 14, 15.
And all on the last day as well. Yeah, like Falcao. I think Daley Blind was confirmed on the last day. Like Luke Shaw was only a few days before that, and it was like, oh my god, And you want to talk about people that I thought I was going to work out? Yeah. I remember we played Leicester at the King Power. We lost. I think it was like 5-3. 5-3. Cambiasso scores. And if you look at our forward lineup that day, it's like Wayne Rooney, Robin van Persie, Falcao, Di Maria, and you're going how
we're going to win the league.
And 2 weeks ago, I went, how are we not going to win the league with these striking options, these attacking options? The only issue is we were playing at the time a back three with like Tyler Blackett, Paddy McNair. Was a bit of trouble.
McNair.
Was a bit of trouble. But I was honestly at that time. I thought, Falcao. We got Falcao, Van Persie, Rooney with Di Maria. Like
mental.
What?
It was mental. It was ridiculous. It really. Was. I was talking to Danny Simpson about that because obviously he was at Leicester the year they won the league. Well, he won the league with Leicester, but he didn't play that game because he was on the bench because Richie Delat used to play fullback instead, and he had to dislodge him. But he was saying they looked at their team because. You know what he said? He was saying to me, I said, when did you think you just off on a tangent here? But I was like, when did you realize you could win the league and stuff? Like what? I was like, see Christmas and stuff. He was like, did we fuck? Was going out every night, like drinking, just like we didn't think we'd ever win the league until like February. He goes, when they knew it got serious was when they lost against Arsenal when Welbeck scored in the last minute.
Yeah.
And he goes, they went bananas, limbs. They went, we're a big deal. Like that's like Arsenal celebrating like they just won the league because they've beaten us. Like, hold on a minute, this is something really serious. And they were saying when they were coming up on the bus to face us because they could have won it at Old Trafford. But what happened in that game? Did they draw?
They drew,
well, no,
and then
they drew, and then the Spurs game happened.
Spurs game happened, yeah.
So he was coming up on the bus, and him and Danny Drinkwater, because obviously ex-United, they were like, "Fucking hell, this feels weird. Like we're going up to like Old Trafford. We didn't make it there. We could fucking win the league there today." Like it was the story from him was just so crazy, so crazy. But anyway, back to what we was talking about, which I can't remember.
Me neither, but we got some members chats.
Yes, let's get those out. Shout out Dags. Dags says he's been a member for 1 month as well. Says players are a big problem. Decision making is poor, and midfield is aging. No traditional win backs. This is going to be a rough few months, but I trust Amorim. It is going to be a rough few months, and he said we will have to suffer. Yeah, we will have to suffer,
but it'll be worth it.
But it'll be worth it because this time next year, I guarantee you will be better. Team Nathan's been a member for 28 months. Shout out to you, Nathan. Says, I'll be real, watching Sunday's game, I'm excited. You can see Ruben is a real coach. If this clicks and he gets his target players, we're on to something. Hashtag United View. And that is something I did really enjoy about what Jamie Carragher is. It was really good analysis. Like to have that freeze frame of going, look at Casemiro looking to the coach to say, what do you want? And the coach can clearly articulate himself to say, I want you to do this. On you go. You know, and the way he's identifying the things that went wrong. Johnny Evans didn't really know when to go there. Dallo didn't really know when to do this. Xerxes doesn't understand. He needs to get in the box more. I learned that Garnacho could do this. I learned that. I learned this. So he's so open. The way he explains himself, it's not going to be ambiguous to us. We're not going to be thinking, well, he's saying one thing and doing another. Like you're earning our trust already by saying what you do and doing what you say. You will see, I guarantee you will see an identity game one. We saw it. We saw it. Yeah. I guarantee you we will suffer or we will have to change this and change that. We're seeing it. So no problem. No problem, Ruben. Absolutely. It is exciting.
Yeah. And you know, it's not one, you don't want to do the whole thing where you compare him to all of these other managers saying he's going to be as successful. But you look to Arteta and Klopp. Their first games in charge came in mid-season, drew both of them. Klopp's was against Spurs. Arteta's was against Bournemouth away. You know, that when you do come in mid-season and you've got to try and implement, you know, your ideas, your style, that is when, you know, you're going to have these starts where, because I think this is the journey of a fan, isn't it? Is that we get really excited. Oh, this new manager's coming, this new head coach coming, this is really exciting. He's going to, and you watch the sporting team, you go, oh, that's what it's going to be like. You know, it's great. And you kind of then forget the reality of it of like, well, sporting didn't happen to them overnight. that didn't happen to them immediately. We're seeing the end product and saying, we want that. Well, we want that, please. And we kind of forgot that like you said, that's like 4 years worth of work. So obvious. It's almost like at the moment, he did say this in his first press conference, it's like he's got to find a way of, again, suffering, going through these difficult moments to try and get the players to do what he wants them to do, for them to understand it, become second nature. But because it's football and it's Manchester United, you've also still got to get results. So how do you balance that up? You know, do you risk a couple of games going, we might have some bad results here for a little bit, but, you know, it will get better. Like, how do you navigate that without? And then that's the challenge of coming in mid-season, is that you don't have, you know, the summer luxury of going, right, I can get everyone in, we can do a pre-season, they can understand it. And as the season goes on, we'll get better. It's a bit like with Liverpool now, you know, there's a reason why they're getting better. I remember watching them in pre-season, actually, I forget which game, but even against us, remember when we played them in pre-seson and we lost? But we were like, actually, they're not that good. They were struggling to play out from the back. They were making all these mistakes. And we were like, I don't know about that. They're not that good. But then as time goes on, because they've got repetition, they've got results as well, which makes it easier to buy in. He's a charismatic guy, Arne Slot. They buy in, and now you go, they're way different than when they were in August or July.
And they're not even, and they're a different version of themselves. Like they don't look like as good as when they were prime Klopp. Obviously, it's different players, different energy, different instructions. But you know, you look at them, and they weren't great against Southampton. you know, they're getting through a few games, you know, but it was also is the mark of, you know, if you're going to win a league, it's just about consistency.
That's what actually worried me, to be honest. That,
yeah, because they're not playing great,
every season, and there are teams, and they usually end up winning the league. A lot of time it's City or whenever, but those teams, when they're always scoring late goals, and or they're always like coming back, and you go, that's not good.
When that game went to 2-1 Southampton, I went, yes, wicked, and I looked at it and went, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. This is like the 66th minute. This will end 3-2.
Well, and
like
also,
you just know.
Something else you also learn: you do not F with Mo Salah in a contract year. Okay,
no. Don't F with him in most years, but definitely
not in a contract year. My God,
and he weren't even playing good. You know what I mean?
And then afterwards, being like, well, I guess I'm actually out the door. They haven't actually spoken to me, so I might be leaving. You know what I mean? But
and Jamie Carragher spoke about that. I know this ain't Liverpool view, but he was like, I'm really disappointed. It is mental. He was in the fucking mix zone. The geezer with a camera.
Yeah. You can see
how many times they walk past the mix zone, bro.
Yeah,
that's like Rashford, who never speaks.
That's really
stopping and going to me, going, "Tell you what, I'm on this contract. I might think about going PSG." What? Rashford stopped and spoke to Fleck. He said that he might leave.
I just haven't really got the contract off. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I'm probably more out than in, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's mental. That is so, and that's calculated. Jamie Carragher is right there because he never does that. I don't know why he's done that. Anyway, we don't care. But to Owen's point, they got better under their manager. When they stuck with his rules, his principles, and they kept getting better. I wanted to ask you guys this. Before I do, let's check the stream where we're at. Likes, chats. J Cod, member for 26 months. He says, I'm willing to suffer flex. I do believe the players need to go. We need to invest in this coach. He is Ineos's guy. Full steam ahead, Ruben. Yep, agreed, 100%. And Keegan's been a member for 29 months. It's refreshing to see the manager communicate in a clear way. He isn't scared or hide behind the team's shortcomings and calls out the things that we need to work on. Exactly. Listen, he did say he'd defend his players till the cows come home. And he said he'd rather, what did he say?
Until they show me otherwise.
Until we show me otherwise.
And I'd rather lose his job, didn't he? He was like,
and throw them under the bus. Yeah.
I'll lose my job first before.
But he's saying, if I see that you're being selfish and not doing things for the team, you will hear from me, I think was the quote. So he's basically saying, you are my guys. I will protect you against the media. But in saying that, he's protecting them by saying the reason why the things were wrong. They are trying. They really want this. I believe in them. But he doesn't use that as an excuse, like Keegan just said, to not say the things that they're doing wrong, which is really, really good. Riri says, 1K watching in capitals. Can we at least get to 500 likes? That's going to be my next bit, guys. We're at over 1,200 watching comfortably. And we haven't even got 300 likes.
Poor, and I mean poor.
Poor. Yeah, really poor. Yeah. Really poor. Come on, peeps, man.
Absolutely woeful. Absolutely woeful.
Absolutely, Kenna. You tell them.
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
Okay, all right, Kenny. Yeah, so let's get to 500 likes. Let's get to 500 likes because there's no reason why we can't do that. This is what I wanted to ask. Danny Murphy. I know people can say, "Oh, there's Danny Murphy. Oh, you don't like you." You know, I like him. I've worked with him quite a lot in the past. Good, really good guy. But his opinion was that he doesn't think that 3-4-3 will stay like that. And his reasons, he said it will evolve into something else. His reasons were a few. One, there hasn't been many teams who play that in this league and, you know, do really well. He spoke about the Chelsea side that obviously did. There was another team he said did it. I can't remember. But the main one was Chelsea. He said, all right, Chelsea did it. But they had, you know, prime Matic and prime Kante, you know, and spoke about the really good players they had. And he was basically saying that Man United don't have that. So he feels that Ruben Amorim will morph this formation into something else. I saw a lot of comments, a lot of retweets saying one game and you're saying that. I disagree with Danny. I just wanted to get your thoughts, Owen, on that.
And you guys in the chat. I think it's very lazy, isn't it? It's very lazy. Of course, well, if Ruben Amorim said this himself, and I've used this quite a few times now, if it was just about, you know, doing what the players, you know, were comfortable with or knew, and you doing it that way, then he would have played 4-2-3-1, and then he would have asked them to play on the counter attack, and that's what he would have done. You know, you don't go into a team mid-season with your ideas and your philosophy, your formation, and everyone just fits perfectly. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. You need, multiple transfer windows. You need a huge amount of time with the players to mold them if they can be molded. So for one game to be like, oh, it's not going to work because he doesn't have the players. I'm sure Jurgen Klopp said that when he came in after his first game. I don't really have the players to do that. I mentioned Arteta earlier on, came in. Look at that team that played in the first game against Bournemouth and the team that he plays now. It's massively different. You don't walk into a team, as I said, mid-season and just go, oh, I've got all these players. I don't need to sign anyone else. Everyone's going to fit. No problem. That's why you have transfer windows anyway, is to bring players in to replace players or fit people in, right? So, I don't see that as the case. I mean, we can be quite snobby here in England in the Premier League about, like you said, Conte's only really one that's had success with that back three, so it's not going to work. We do this all the time with players, don't we? When they come in, well, I don't know about that. He can do it in this league or they can do it in this country, but not in the Premier League, Fleck. No, not in our Premier League. And they were asking it to Amorim after the game, weren't they? One of their questions going, oh, hey, Reuben, how good's the Premier League, right? How good's the Prem? How good? But we do it like it's so self-serving sometimes. We want to pat ourselves on the back a lot, don't we? Going, oh, it's great. It's great. Premier League's great, isn't it? Say it's great. Say it's
best league in the world.
Say it's great. Say it's great. Say it's really unpredictable. Yeah. Even though the same team's won it 4 years in a row, it's really predictable, right? Yeah, yeah. And you go, yeah, it's great. And they go, yeah, he said it's great. You go, all right, whatever. So as for it's going to work or it's not going to work, it's going to take time and you're going to have to recruit for it. Manchester United have made the commitment to that. And it's not even going to be a new thing to those at Man United. I'm sure when they're talking to Ruben Amorim in the first place and they're going, right, so we want you to come in, be a head coach. How are you going to play? You go, I play with a 3-4-3. And they'll sort of be like, well, this player could fit, that player could fit. Well, look, it's a 2.5-year commitment to your contract. We'll give you time. We'll back you. And we'll bring players in to fit your system. It's not going to be done overnight, is it? It's not, And look, I understand the game. Sometimes you've got stuff to talk about. So you'd have to talk about Man United. Can have reservations. It's not going to work. Time will tell, Fleck. Time will tell.
Yeah, and one thing I do really like about what Ruben's saying, and he said it, I think in the thing with Gary Neville before, or it might have been in his first presser with the in-house, not presser, but the interview. Can't remember which one it was. But before we'd even played that game against Ipswich, and he reiterated it afterwards. He said he said it to Roy Keane, I think, it's not so much the 3-4-3. It's not, we need to move away from like, oh my God, there's 3 at the back. Oh, there's wing backs. This is just so different. No, it's more about the understanding of the game. That to me is music to my ears because he's not trying to give excuses for confusion because we're building up with a 3 or a 4 or a 5. It's very similar in different phases of play. These are elite level footballers. It's the understanding of things like what Casemiro was struggling with. Yeah. That's where this system will fail or not. Even if he played a 4-2-3-1, right? Say if Ruben Amorim had the same system as Erik ten Hag, 4-2-3-1, but build up with a 3. That's what we played, right? Even if his was the same formation, but he had these different types of principles to Erik ten Hag, it would still be a confusion because the two that are high and wide in the 4-2-3-1 and your striker, your number 10 versus your 2 6s would probably still go, oh, do you want me to go now? Do you want me to hang back? If he wanted to play the 4-2-3-1 with 2 centre-backs that also go and press high, though, and go in over the halfway line and go and engage in opposite midfield numbers so the midfielders can push on, they'd still be confused. So it isn't just about, like, all of a sudden. Obviously, that's one part of it. If you're going from, right back to right wing back, of course, that is different. I'm not saying there's no... But the most important thing is how you understand the instructions.
Well, he was saying about physicality as well, wasn't he? But about intensity, yes. There are other things. They haven't really got anything to do with your shape, as much. Like you said, they're just things about, you got to be more intense, like you said, when you're pressing. And we don't really do that very well. We always say, don't we? Like we did said it under Ten Hag, didn't we? We kind of babied ourselves to an extent because we'd see one player run around like a blue-ass fly. We go, look at our press. And you go, it's not press that we're just one player's decided to try and win the ball back.
Exactly.
So still, we know, again, limitations of the players. If they're not going to do it or they can't do it, then we're going to have to go find other people. So, again, a lot of that stuff is just going to take time. And I think we as fans, I think also too, are going to have to be tested when it comes to this because, and this isn't me trying to be doom and gloom or anything like that. It's just after the weekend, reality check, right? We've got some big games against some big teams coming up, Flex, yeah? Arsenal at the Emirates, City at the Etihad. No, City aren't great, but still City at the Etihad. Liverpool at Anfield, early January. Like, let's be honest, yeah? There might be a couple of really bad results on the horizon.
Yeah.
And when they come, it's not to say that we can't be angry or we can't be annoyed because there's a lot of context involved there. You want to see effort and you want to see the players trying. And if they don't try, you can get very angry about that. But it's just almost sort of acknowledging that, hey, there's going to be some rough points over the next few months. The next 2 months are going to be really big. I think determining where we do actually finish the season and how we do view it, because we're still in the early stages. We're still like, look, we go on a run of games, we can still climb the league. Maybe we don't get top 4, but maybe in Europa League we can get into the Champions League. Like, there's still stuff we can do. We might get through December and January and be like, forget this season. You know what I mean?
And that could happen, and that's fine.
That's what I mean. And I think we as fans have to kind of prepare ourselves mentally for that. Like, that might be a possibility. That might be a possibility of, for the greater good.
Yeah.
The greater good.
I
have to sort of sacrifice
100%. I hate to draw any parallels with Chelsea. I hate to be in the Mud Brothers with Matisse, and I know he's slowly separating himself from us. But in all honesty, don't tell him I said this. Yeah. But in all honesty, if you look at where they've been over the last couple of years, that shocking season they finished 12th. I mean, we said, didn't we? That is like the lowest of the. None of the big clubs going through a transition have finished that low. You know what I mean? We finished, 6th? This was before we finished 8th. But before that, it was like lowest was 6th. Arsenal had like back-to-back 8th.
Was it 7th? I think 7th.
Was 7th maybe? Okay, yeah. 7th under Moyes. Arsenal had a back-to-back 8th. We've now had an 8th. No one's finished 12th. That's like, fucking, you're not even in the top half of the table, mate. That's, but then they had to take those licks because that was the season, I think Lampard had to come in, Potter went, then it was mental. Yeah. Mental. Then they went with Poch for a year and, okay, they got rid of him, but it
ended well. It was rough. It was rough for a long time.
We were all laughing at them.
And then it ended well.
And it got to the point where we went, bloody hell, if there was more games at the end of last season, people were in a bit of trouble, actually. Chelsea was starting to click.
One of the more informed teams.
One of the more informed teams.
Games, yeah.
Exactly. So if there was more games, and they managed to finish 6th, like legitimately, which would have got them the Europa League if we didn't win the FA Cup. So they went in, then they sacked that manager, again, which was a bit more pain, and got this guy in. And now look at them now. And that was all in between us laughing at £1 billion blue bottle jobs. Look what you've spent. And now you look at it, they're getting a pretty settled team, and now he can start sprinkling some stuff. So I'm not saying we're not Chelsea. We don't want to do it we don't want to arrive at that point in the way they did. But in terms of what Owen's saying about the sufferation and what the manager's saying, the suffering that you might have to endure at one point.
It's sufferation word.
Well, do you know why? Do you know why I'm saying that? Because in dancehall, in Jamaican thing, that's what we say in some of the lyrics. It probably isn't in the English dictionary.
This is quite interesting, Flex. Sufferation. I just typed it in. It says noun, West Indian.
Told you. That's what I know. My things, Owen.
Unpleasant experiences, suffering. Our sufferation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Owen. So when I'm saying in the yard thing,
cultural differences. That was first
saying, yo,
cultural differences.
And I love that it's identified in the actual meaning.
Yeah.
West Indian, because what we say, we're born in a sufferation. A sufferation we come from, Pure sufferation me I deal with, brother. No food. Me not have no plate for yam with food. Sufferation where I deal with.
I'm scrolling down again. Sufferation, patois definition.
You can't question my Jamaicanness, bro. It's in me. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And you weren't even
sufferation.
Sure. And you weren't even sure. It just came out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just because I've heard that. Like my grandpa, that's the word I use all the time. That's bare sufferation, bro. That's what we deal with. But I'm glad it's recognized universally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
There could be a lot of that though. We're gonna have to maybe deal with that. And like I said, it's the next. I'm telling you, Fleck. The next 2 months. By the end of it, we'll know what the season's looking like. We'll be like, I'll tell you what, actually, maybe sort of top 6, maybe top 4. Oh, let's see. Or it's like, no, season right off.
Season done. Yeah, because there is still room for them to shock us, but it's unlikely. It's unlikely.
It's fully, we're going for the Europa League.
Yeah.
Fully,
I think there's,
the Europa League.
if we're being honest, there's more chance, like you say, we suffer and probably have to go, okay, that's going to be a bit beyond us. Let's just focus on this system, eh?
System and Europa. That's what we're going for.
Let's stop looking at the league. Let's stop looking, did we jump up? Let's just stop. And that's why Amorim's right. I know, like at United, the objective is always to get back in the top 4. Back-to-back Europa is not good, but we have to look at the context. He has to take it game by game. He has to make sure that these players are beginning to understand what he wants them to do. If we can keep seeing that, the improvement will come. It might not come to the level where we can jump up the league and catch Villa and catch Brighton and catch all these, these teams above us. But it will come in terms of visually, we know what we're getting and we know what we can invest into. And then you go again next year. And if that needs to happen, we'll get memed, we'll get clipped. Oh, they thought he had a Montclair. Look, they finished 10th. That. You take all that. It is what it is. But we know what we have to focus on in-house. We know where we're at and what we're trying to build. So that's just it. We're at 400 likes, or 399, should I say? And we're at 1,400 peeps. Come on. Raise that. We shouldn't be at 1,400 people watching live, which is great, by the way. And not at 500 likes. We've got 100 likes to go. We're bang on 400 now. So
for Flex, it kind of just channeled the sort of Jamaican heritage out of it, bro. Just subconsciously, not even realizing that alone's worth at least 100 likes, at least minimum.
Just to finish off, Owen. Again, it's kind of like a pre. Oh no, actually, what I do need to do
tomorrow. You need to tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow, big day. We're going up to Carrington. Obviously, Ruben Amorim's first press conference that we will be in. If we are lucky enough and afforded the opportunity to ask him a question, it's not always a given. You don't expect things. Be humble.
There'll be a lot of media there.
There'll be a lot of media as well. So, some maybe other fan channels might get a question. Maybe we won't. Maybe we do. Maybe I don't know. You never don't expect anything. But if we do, which would be a great pleasure, great honor, as it always is, because I never take that kind of stuff for granted. It's amazing to be able to do that from where we've all come from. So I represent all of us when we do that. Put your questions in the chat of what you would like me to ask Ruben if we get the chance. And if you're watching this back, drop it in the comment section below. Get your questions in now, because I think I'd love to ask a question that came from us as a community, not just, me thinking of it on the spot or on the way up, or Owen thinking this would be good.
TV Thrill says, ask him if era's come to an end.
No, I'm not doing that. Sensible questions only. No, sensible.
Where'd you get your shoes from? Where'd you get your jacket from?
Where's the Montclair? You're going to wear it on Thursday.
Yeah.
Ask him when Gyökeres is coming. No, guys, it has to be something that we know we're going to get. Another thing, don't let me waste the credit.
Yeah.
We need to ask that because the one thing, on a serious note, guys, he's willing to talk.
Very articulate.
Willing to talk tactics. He's willing to talk process. He's willing to talk players. So, how many?
Well, it's quite interesting, because when you used to ask Eric questions, he was quite particular with certain questions that he would ask. You could ask him something, you could get a one-word answer. He wouldn't really say all that much. If you asked him about tactics, he could maybe be a bit more, or football, he'd be a bit more expansive, wouldn't he? So you have to kind of learn with these sort of managers and coaches what they do and they don't like to talk about as well. But he seems very much willing to answer anything.
And shout out Doro, who says, "What the F will you achieve asking any question? Oh my God."
Well, just shut the channel down, mate. There's fucking no point, is there? You know what I mean? There's no. Usually what you achieve by asking a question is get an answer. That's kind of the minimum, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Ask about Ahmad in the 10. Great one says, ask about Ahmad in the 10. I'm scared he may only see him as a wing back. Ask him if he thinks he can turn his poor start around. Oh my God. Come on, guys. Guys, come on. I expected more here. Is there players who won't be capable of playing your system? Okay. Is there players who might not be able to do it? Flex, ask him if Flex will turn up for Reckless United tonight, says Joe Blackman.
Just do that in the question. Flex,
I'm not available to that as well, Joe.
They'll go, Andrew, go, Flex, you go, what the fuck would I achieve by asking you a question? And then hand over the microphone. Thank you.
Yeah, just pass it on to Laurie.
Yeah.
How did you go from Ineos to ask him about Mazraoui in the 10? What's your perfect Sunday? Ask him in Jamaican voice. Tell him you're from the Jamaican media. Just ask him Wagwan. I give up. I give up.
Start off by going,
right.
guys.
Better watch out because we have come for you.
Guys, I gave you a lot of chance. I'm like, you know what? Involve the community. And how do we improve our intensity? I mean, I gave you a lot. What hair gel does he use? Right.
Rastafari.
Oh my God, you lot are too much. I try and involve you lot, and I'm actually being serious to ask you lot a serious question. And this is what you lot are doing. Kristen, will we see rotation of players versus Bodo? Ask him if the exact same tactics he used at Sporting will do, or he reckons he'll need to tweak things. Yeah, okay. Because that way you'll get out of him. It's one way, it's this. What does he think will be the hardest challenge? Ask him if he sees right wing back as Ahmad's long-term position. A lot of people said that. Flex, ask him how he plans to address the lack of goals. Ask him why he doesn't switch wing backs as to keep the width. We need
the goals one's a good one. Say if that concerns him,
so maybe about goals.
We're like one of the lowest goal scorers in the league, aren't we? You know, is that a concern?
Yeah, I like that. I like that one. Ask him if the two positions he has for Mount is injured or on the bench. Yeah, I'll try that. Where do we need to improve on the pitch, says Joe Blackman. Ask him about central midfield duo. What does he want from them? What went wrong with Casemiro and Eriksen? You could ask him about midfield. What does he want from the two? How does he want them to complement each other? Would he prefer one destroyer who runs and goes and gets the ball and one who can play? Do they both need to be very physical and mobile? You know, that's a decent one as well. So yeah, I will try and sift through the silly ones to get the sensible ones. That's what I'll do. That's now my new job for the rest of the day. So go through you lot's comments and try and find some decent things I can ask him. And if there's nothing, I'll just do it myself. Yeah. I'm trying to be polite to involve the community, because the only reason we get to go to things like this is because of you guys. But it was a nice vibe. Anyway, guys, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new.
14 to go, by the way. 14 to go to 500.
Whilst I'm doing this outro, we will get 14 more likes to get to 500 on the way out. It should have been more. It should have been 750, really. But we'll let you off. You're excited. You're forgetting things. We will be back later on today with the Flexing KG show, so we'll see you then as well. And make sure, there you go. 3 more. Get us to the 500. We are out of here, and I'll see you again later on. Take care. Peace.